Hello everyone! Today we're returning to the theme of forgotten road power that you most likely have never heard about. This time we're talking about a rather strange oddity in a US state you'd likely never expect it from. With this, I am proud to introduce today's guest, the one and only Cal Unit Productions.
Hello everyone, this is Cal Unit Productions coming to you live from Ontario, Canada, where it's also cold around this time. And I'm glad to be here to talk about something about Alaska, a country that's always cold.
Oh, Alaska. The only Russo-American state, one of the most beautiful places in all of North America, known mostly for its breathtaking landscape. One of the best ways to see Alaska is from on board one of the trains operated by the state-owned Alaskan Railroad. There are a variety of routes to choose from that take you nearly 500 miles across the Alaskan mountain range.
Speaking of the Alaska Railroad, people don't really know too much about what they used to operate. Today they operate pretty conventional equipment on both tourist and freight trains, like EMD SC-70 Max, F-40PHs, and GP-38s. But back then, well, it's a completely different story.
Let's go back 80 years real quick. Welcome back to the 1940s. The Alaska Railroad obtained their very first diesel locomotive and put into revenue service in 1941. It was a Whitcomb Locomotive Company 20GM15, a teeny tiny switcher locomotive. Surprisingly though, Alaska kept their steam locomotives until the mid-1960s. The last one didn't retire until 1966. Anyway, with the first new diesel locomotives being purchased, they decided to purchase more, and they began mostly with road switchers, which were relatively new at the time. But then, there comes the year of 1947.
Alaska is known for being incredibly cold almost all year round, so they had to give their locomotives special modifications to handle the sub-zero temperatures. The Alaska Railroad found that the open-tight or tight-fitting hood over the engine of the ex-military locomotives was not very good for maintenance in the Arctic winter. So a program was started to rebuild their own locomotives into shrouded units. And you know what this means? Streamlined road switchers.
The first road switcher to get the streamlining treatment was a 6-axle ex-US Army Alco RSD-1 numbered 8040 built in 1943. It was rebuilt in 1947 and renumbered as 1050. It would also receive a new livery in 1949. Might I add, these road switchers also pulled one of the signature Aurora passenger trains. This streamlining treatment would be applied to a total of 28 switchers, with a few even being converted to B units or boosters. They would also be reclassed as Alco RF-1A or RF-1Bs. The last one to get the shrouding was 1078, another ex-US Army RSD-1 numbered 8053.
These locomotives were Alaska's first streamliners. They would go on to purchase EMD-F units in 1952. And the switcher's performance never really got tweaked, so they normally didn't go faster than their top speed of 65 miles per hour.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find any information on how these trains actually performed and what the crews thought of them, but I did find out that they fought some really good battles with the weather. They served a pretty decent service life too.
As said earlier, the Alaska Railroad went on in 1952 to purchase newer EMD F7s and F9s to haul passenger and freight trains across the mountains. Those would last well into the mid-1980s, but unfortunately, it's not the same case for the streamlined road switchers.
From what I could find, all 28 of the early streamliners were retired between 1963 and 73. All, unfortunately, were sold for scrap. The F units would wind up as the replacements. To be honest, these things aren't the only weird obscurities they had. As the next couple decades went on, they purchased these weird hybrid locomotives called the MRS-1s, built by all three companies. Alco and General Electric collaborated on some, while EMD made their own. These, however, despite them looking virtually indestructible, were retired off of the Alaskan Railroad in the 1980s. Only 3 have reportedly been scrapped, but there are some still on static display at several different railroad museums.
Today, the Alaska Railroad still hosts excursion trains on the daily with all types of equipment, including a Colorado Railcar DMU that was discussed on this channel previously. Not gonna lie, it's kinda neat seeing how Alaska handled streamlining, although they were kinda late to the party. Streamlined road switchers just sound like a very weird thought, but in Alaska, it became a reality and they definitely looked really cool. A reminder of what once was one of the quirkiest operations of an American state that borders two countries at the same time.
Thanks y'all for watching this video. Special thanks to Calino Productions for being a big help. Go subscribe to this channel, it'll be in the pinned comment. That's all we have to say for now. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching and have a good day.